One. Welcome to Stone Soup Poetry. It's time for Are you ready to laugh, America? Let's do the best Homer Simpson impression and say, Are you ready to laugh? We are our feature, our long-awaited feature. Richard Spisak is here. He has promised a free chapbook to everyone who takes a humorous poem and brings it to the open mic to read. So the challenge has been accepted. I don't know if I guess all of us have to laugh very loud, otherwise Richard's not going to know if it's funny or not. Maybe he just go. Maybe he's swayed by public opinion. Maybe it's swayed by his own sense of humor. I'm not sure. The rules weren't entirely clear, but I hope you brought your funny poems. I'm glad you brought yourselves, and I'm very happy to see you all tonight. And we'll get to the open mic. Our first person on the open mic tonight. Who do I want to bring in next? Um, oh, and Richard just gave his email to write you about your copy of 16 Stories. Here we go now. We're going to start with Shannon O'Connor for the number one spot.
Hello. I think I write funny poems, but I'm not sure if this one is funny, but it's funny to me. So if you laugh, that would be great. Uh, this poem is called Evil. I learned about canned margaritas from the show Evil. It's about a team of paranormal investigators for the Catholic Church. The main character, Kristen, had climbed Mount Everest, graduated with a PhD in psychology, gave birth to four daughters, was in her 30s, and found solace in margaritas in a can. I wondered how a person could accomplish so much by that age, but I realized this is a fantasy show and it's not close to reality. She has the hots for the priest while they investigate paranormal activity, possessions, demons, and evil. I tried the margaritas in cans, and they're the perfect blend, not like when I tried to mix them myself. I find when I drink the margaritas, I have the desire to find evil where it's lurking, hiding, so I can get a dose of excitement in an otherwise boring life. On Fridays, after I finish work, I can look for aliens depositing toxic mold in earth houses, poisoning people, and spreading evil. I pay attention at my job to the doctor's discussions about psychiatric patients and dream of transforming their tragedies into sci-fi. I will continue to sip the margaritas and search for evil and hope for a more interesting life. If I can't live one, at least I can write about it. Thank you.
Truly evil. Is that how they pronounce it?
No, that's how I pronounce it in the poem.
Nice.
But
You just reminded me. There was like this episode of a cartoon I saw once where a villain and hero switch their minds. So the hero's in the villain's body, and he's supposed to be like a leader. He's in the bathroom, like wondering what the hell's going on. All of a sudden, he walks out. Time for the meeting. And some guy goes, and one of the villains goes, "Aren't you going to wash your hands?" And the hero in the villain's body goes, "No, because I'm evil," and then walks away. But I like the evil touch. Very nice. That's worth a laugh emoji for me. Let's go now to Miss Jan Rowe.
Hi. Well, I was going to read the piece I did on Bill Barnum, but if this is kind of funny. Um, Trapped on a train car with teenagers, hearing the old song, "Stuck in the Middle with You May Help." This is why I completely miss Black Seed Writers, but arrived in time for a 25-minute meditation, then singing with our musical genius, Louise Mundinger, who combines us a cappella with trained singers from Berkeley and the Conservatory. No mean feat. An acquaintance smiled broadly and understandably at my account of being trapped and crowded on the Red Line in a packed, stuffed car with students from the Henderson at Ashmont going on a field trip. A student standing and gazing at the housing as we were stopped for some unexplained reason between JFK UMass. Andrew turns and asks no one in particular, what does fa la 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 mean? From Deck the Halls. Another student, stuffed to my immediately left, says to no one in particular, ring around the rosy, pocket full of posies, ashes, ashes, we all fall down. So I had recently seen on YouTube a terrifying Jack and the Beanstalk with Abbott and Costello giving new meaning to I smell the blood of an Englishman. Thankfully, the train began to move and I was able to submit this through email. Thank you. That's kind of funny.
Thank you, Jan. And up next, the visual and comedic stylings of one Mr. Laughin' Window, Robert Laughin' Window Fleming.
Thank you, Chad. Do people in the room know what a Zoom bomb is? We're going to do one. So open your chat and then type your funniest word. And then on 3, we're going to press enter and we're going to make a funny Zoom bomb. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Motherfucker.
Okay, Bill, I gotta admit that one's a new one for me.
So I'm going to share a little bit
Never heard of a
of
coochie snorter?
I'm going to share a little bit of a feature that I'm going to do on the 15th on the corner. This is the elementary school I went to, Westmount, in Westmount, Quebec. This is called Roslyn Elementary School. I was there from maybe 1967 through 75. And at the school, my favorite activities were throwing snowballs at cars, doodling on the bathroom walls, and putting rubber snakes or insects in the teacher's purse. And in 73, at age 10, I published my first poem, my first visual poem at Roslyn Elementary School on the bathroom wall. This is an example of the poem, but my poem also had curse words and genitalia graffiti, which this one doesn't. In days of old, when we're cold and toilets weren't invented, they laid their loads upon the roads and walked away contented. Isn't that beautiful? And it's 5 lines, so it could be a form poem, like a limerick. And this was my blue elementary school composition book. And this was the first poem I wrote. I grew up in Canada, so we had a lot of snow and a very long winter. So this was in 75. I was born in 63, so I was either 11 or 12. La neige. La neige est blanche et tourbillonne dans les branches, dansant, dansant dans le vent. Couvre la terre avec ses flocons, embaume l'air comme le miel. Mais elle est toujours dans le ciel, dansant, dansant dans le vent. Mais un beau jour en été, la neige couleur tranquillement dans les ruisseaux longs et étoiles, dansant, dansant dans le vent. And now the English. The snow. The snow is white, and whirlwinds in the branches, dancing, dancing in the wind. Cover the earth with flakes, embalms the air with honey, but she is always in the sky, dancing, dancing in the wind. But a beautiful summer day, the snow colors tranquility in the streams long and straight, dancing, dancing in the wind. And this was my first visual poem where I combined text with an image I drew in crayon. Grand cétacé marin, méchant, intelligent, aime manger beaucoup, poisson pour traîner, baleine. Big crustacean marine, mean, intelligent, likes to eat a lot, trainable fish, whale. And I'm going to stop there. Thank you for letting me share my elementary school and my introduction, the first poem I wrote, and the first visual poem I wrote, and my inspiration that I saw on the bathroom wall.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fleming. I'd like to bring us over now to Marianne Honecker.
I won't be reading anything funny because I'm evil. And I will instead do another golden shovel. This one is based on Danzig's Possession. Quarters in my head. I've always had night in my marrow. I do whatever I want, get what I want. The moon's sideburns glow like lampshades. To be beast, to know the world watches you crawl. I find a cradle of earth, curl inside. I listen for your growl. I'll be at your side, see me through the trees, black smudge of soul. I'm a hornet's nest which you will nestle into. I'm the blackest lake you leap in. You are drowning. You had a choice and your choice was me. I'm a swelling in the brain. I kept it all these months, my place to stand. I was always ready to leave you. I stayed for a promise to myself on a new moon night. There are places that your hands can't reach, corridors in my head. The bonfire bursts sparks. Beside it I crouch. Your friends have broken into a house. You swim across the madness, a river. On the other side is your own madness, all chest expansion, arms bowed, me on all fours. Harsh breathing, cold for eyes, and what will I do? I will stay very quiet. You will calm. You don't deflate, you spread your large walk. I don't know what sparked you, one detail among many, taken sideways, as against your love. I leap and then fly in dreams. You haven't broken me with your snarl. When the moon crawls into itself, I'll leave you. When night opens up to the farthest star, think of me. I'm that far away. It's on you, your death threats and other nonsense. You are fading now, covered by fog. I'm asleep and the comforter is warm. I'm safe. The myth was your repeated invitation to catastrophe. I am now a part of the trees in their simple silence. To your account I charge my expansion of mind. I'm awake now, though the night still beckons. Now I wade into the ocean of me. Your choking hands grow dim, the water to my knees now. Your explosive anger, your sin, your belief you could own me, your sin. That's all. Thank you.
Finally. Let's see who we can go to next. Oh, I'd like to hear some work from Clive Osman. And welcome if this I believe this is your first time here, unless I'm mistaken, but welcome nonetheless.
Yeah, it is. It's well gone midnight here, so I'm normally having my beauty sleep now. But I thought I'd come and listen to Richard tonight. Um, but yeah, I do write comedy poetry and all sorts of nonsense. I'm okay. Before I start this, just so that you know, I'm from Birmingham in the West Midlands in England, but I now live in Swindon in Wiltshire. That is relevant to the poem, so you know you'll see why I said that in a few minutes. But I don't know whether any of you have ever watched a live TV program, especially the news, with the subtitles on or the captions, or even on the Zoom with the captions on, and realise how ridiculously inaccurate they can be, and sometimes quite hilariously so. I remember once, and genuinely, I'd had a minor accident. I was in the A&E, and they got the TV on with the news on and the subtitles, and something came up which I really shouldn't have been laughing at, but it was so inaccurate, it did make me laugh. So this is based on that, and it's called "When BBC Subtitties Go Bong." My name is Sky Snowman. I'm a poet, chameleon, and Tory seller from the wet piglands, po-faced in Klingon in Wiltshire. Recently, I've buffered from Blighter's cock, so I forced myself to write something, anything, to release myself from this torture for the good of my genital health. After all, it has been suggestive that fighting is as good as therapy. And this is the result. It's not likely to be one of my greatest tits, not by a long fork. But at least I'm getting worms down on paper, which is half the battle. It's not a poem, but a brief naughty biography. I started writing poetry about 20 years ago, but didn't start reforming until 2014, when I started breeding at open mics. Breeding in public was awkward for a sly introvert as I was back then, but now I'm keen to breed anywhere I can. In the curly years I rarely lasted 3 minutes, but now I barely get warmed up inside 20 minutes. Indeed, I've done a one-man performance lasting 75 minutes on humorous occasions, and that takes guts. I called that show What If They Barf at Me, and many people did. I also write fash friction and snort Tories, which is a weird thing to do. I am not what you would call an additional poet, nor am I a glammed-up chameleon. I don't blunder lonely as a clown or write about Stafford Hills, and I don't tell typical jokes or reel off bemusing one lioness. I guess I'm stuck in the fiddle, neither one wing or the other, but I have found my own voice, and that is the most important thing. I want to bend this chalk, string it to its confusion, by suggesting that we all have something to slay. Even if you think it doesn't need to be dead, slay it anyway. As I Tennyson earlier, it's God for your genital well-being. Thank you for listening. Thank you.
I just had to say that I turned on the closed captions for this one.
I love it.
Excellent, Clive. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Clive. Let's bring in Mr. Bill Lewis.
Ahem. Shit. I'm deep in shit up to my knees, and when I shovel, I cough and wheeze. How much shit can these goats produce if you keep 'em in a tiny pen and never let 'em loose? 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot more, it's just all shit and blood and gore. Though they are gone, their shit remains. It smells like goat shit when it rains. But I have plans and I have muscles. I shall grow the sprouts of Brussels. So I will sweat and I will carry shit to my plants and I'll be merry. I'll eat this shit all turned to greens and salad stir fries with roasted beans. So here's the recycled goat shit dinner. If you eat goat shit, You're a winner. Yeah, have uh, I have literally 3 feet of goat shit over oh maybe an eighth of an acre. I've got yeah, the weeds grow really well. I'd now like to read a little bit more of my story about my find half Estonian, half Russian friend Yuri who's having a tough time of it. Under Raikoya, the old town hall, there was a wonderful, mysterious, haunting Kolvik that Yuri loved, even though he had only been there once with his mother. It was named after the tragic German story of Tristan and Isolde, a couple that died for their love. The town hall dated from the 1400s and had been restored to its former glories in the 80s and 90s. The walls sandblasted clean, the interior rebuilt, sagging beams replaced, new windows were installed just like the windows from the 1400s. They were constructed with little diamond-shaped pieces of glass, only 10 centimeters tall, and bound together with rods of lead to form a whole window. The glass was wrinkled and had little bubbles in it that made the world outside look blurry and only half real. The top of City Hall had been restored to a museum and a concert hall. Yuri had been there with his school for history lessons. The main hall had a huge leather seats for the noblemen that used to sit there. The rock walls were smoothly covered with plaster, and the columns painted in the chevrons of bright colors. One bit of the old wall was exposed to show the faded designs of a similar nature. But it was below the town hall that entranced Yuri the most. At the lower end of the town hall, for the entire plaza in front of it sloped downward towards the sea, a heavy wooden door opened into a vaulted half basement where the Kovik was, a coffee house. When Yuri and his mother walked in, it was going back 1,000 years. There were 3 small chambers, largest, just large enough for a counter, a coffee machine, a pastry cake, and several small tables. The ceiling, which supported the town hall above, was 4 meters high, arched with rough stones forming a neat curve. Some iron hooks with rings protruded from the ceiling here and there in no particular order. Yuri imagined the criminals hanging from there 1,000 years ago, suspended there as they were being lashed. There were only a couple of electric lights there. The rest of the illumination came from the tapers that burned in wrought iron candlesticks on each table. As they sat there drinking, Yuri imagined himself dressed in great gray cloak, with gilded vest and long pointy shoes. He was there with his fellow noblemen to plot war against the invading Germans. They would surprise the Germanic knights and drive them from Estonia. And I spent many a happy day there in the Kovik below the city hall.
Thank you, Bill. We now bring you to Patricia Kerrigan, Trish Kerrigan, who has some stuff to promote. So please take a few seconds to do. Congratulations in advance.
Thank you. It came today. It was supposed. It was they told me it was a 2-week delay, and I got it today. Don't ask. And tomorrow I go for surgery. Ugh. Ugh. Okay, let's keep it funny. I have vascular problems. It's hereditary. Bewitched, bothered, and bewildered, inspired by Ella Fitzgerald. Behind a newspaper, a fat man in a trench coat camouflaged his peccadillo, awaiting a pretty damsel to take a peek. Not bewitched by his slab of meat, she ignored it. Mama told her to keep her mouth shut, hold on to the pole until the doors open, and 77th and Lex. Men weren't a new sensations, but after a few beers, the fine symmetry hidden in Joey's trousers beguiled her. Being oversexed had its drawbacks. Too many pints covered up his flaws, and the morning after gave her a headache. The right and left sides of her bed looked tired, her wild night left alone on disheveled sheets. At work, she watched his eyes travel up skirts. It bothered her. But men were boys in snazzy suits. Genitals ruled the nature of the male beast. The lion could roar without constant practice in broken trust. Over the past few days, her sleep cycle changed. Thoughts about her pal Joey and the next 5 years. Booze had its limitations, a temporary solution for her bewildered life. He lost his job by the HP printer, hormones on overdrive, with the boss's secretary. He couldn't pay his rent and demanded to stay for a night or two. His attitude less than charming. She refused, slammed the door in his face. Her body and heart antisepted from wisdom, learned from mistakes. She poured a glass of brandy, asked Alexa to dim the lights, play a show tune to end the night. Thank you. On Amazon, I have it in. I'll put it again in the chat room. Thank you.
Congratulations again. And now we bring you to Mr. John Wezek.
Okay, I decided to dig my own grave with a golden shovel, and I'm using lyrics from the Insane Clown Posse's song Miracles. And the lyrics go water, fire, air, and dirt. Fucking magnets, how do they work? So this is called Golden Juggalo. Dracula's in the desert, thirsting for some water, shelters from the sun before he catches fire. With no help from servants or bats in the air, makes a coffin out of cactus and sleeps under dirt. From his grave he smells a virgin scared of fucking, homes in like a pigeon, sensing magnets, thirsts for her sweet nectar. But how will he redeem credit card miles? And do they have seats in first class? They botch his reservation. Flying coach will never work. And since it's Valentine's Day, I'll throw this one out. It's called Another Love Poem That Didn't Work. Come, love, be the antacid that soothes my burning heart, and lie with me on pumpkin spice strewn over my truck bed liner. Your feet are dainty as hybrid subcompacts, each leg slender as a 3.5-inch nitrous-ready drive shaft with chrome alloy yoke and solid body U-joints. Your navel, a glazed donut. Your breasts, round as firm as the tennis balls my Labrador never tires of chasing. Your neck graceful as a Swedish floor lamp, your gaze hypnotic as the smartphone app that summons our rideshare to paradise. I want to drink sweet Moscato from your cochineal lips, then sober myself in the dark roast Americano of your hair. My passion is a 2.9% APR credit card, its chip and pin unlocking the bounty of your desire. Thank you.
Very nice. And I see. Second time I've seen ICP be evoked in poetry in almost as many weeks. Let's go now to as we close the open mic and get to the feature. Well, let's go now to Mr. James Van Loy to close this out.
Thanks, Chad. So I have this poem here called A Noise I Enjoy. I first practiced the moo chant we identified with the tuba throat singers back in the mid 1980s up in the Loft Studio of Boston Arts Center. Whereas closing exercise after rehearsal, the Mirage Mime Theater would gather on the floor. I made shine, painting it with Verathane, an attempt to separate the overtones from the deep-throated hum, which when my son and I moved down to lower, slower Delaware, I continued in the dance studio, where we transitioned on out to the middle of about 50 acres of the then industrial farmed land, and we lived in the leftover farmhouse infested with termites, so it fell apart, then down, but it was in this special stillness so far out as Shell White Drive, I learned to start reliably producing overtones, R sounds, slowly making their way up throat across soft palate through nasal passages, separating overtones until now in cathedral, perfect music space, scales appear. 40 years of attempts and practice, and there are ascending, descending tones, echoing in the sanctuary's stone walls, reverberating with pulsing hard head, me. And
Thank you so much, Mr. Van Looy, and thanks to everyone. Oh,
peace.
Richard, and thanks to John for, of course, having a YouTube link as always to Richard Feynman documentary about throat singers. That's amazing. But let's cut to the matter. Get to the matter at hand. We have a feature we've been waiting for. We've been waiting to hear for quite some time. And it'll be my pleasure to, once I'm making sure the computer's still working, and it is, to read the boilerplate. Oh, before I do, special reminder: I will not be around next Wednesday. I'm on vacation, so hopefully that'll be the time when I can get my computer fixed, and hopefully that'll also be there'll also be a period where no snow soup happens, but we will return on the 25th for Jules Nyquist, and then we will also convene on March 4th for Arthur Stratosphere Williams. His information will hopefully be going up later tonight. Our feature tonight is Richard Spisak. Richard W. Spisak Jr. began life as a professional light artist with Mel Tanner of Lumonics. Then he worked with Master Luminous, Kenvin Lyman of Dazzleland Studios. He has been a writer, producer, and director in live theater, TV, and radio for 30 years. Richard has also contributed, has also contributed several editorial essays and cartoons to a wide array of newspapers and periodicals and e-zines. He continues to publish his editorial cartoons on the web. He has published 2 short story collections, 2 Small Windows, In a Pair of Mirror Doors, and Between the Silences. In 2022, Richard published his collected poetry 7370 Allen Drive. In 2024, he published Stone Poetry, and in 2025, his latest poetry collection, No Noise, has been released into the wild. Richard also produces Poets of the East, a webcast which features poets from Asia, Europe, and the Americas. This guy does a lot of work to make sure that poets such as ourselves are listened to. I hope you do the same for him. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together 40 times. It's about damn time for Richard Spisak.
Thank you so much, my friends. I I have the great honor of having an ear to appreciate poets and artists and writers and musicians. You, when you speak your poems, you speak your truth. That is so refreshing in this world that makes so much hay of nonsense, mendacity, and lies. So I thank you. And I figure that as a writer, my motto has always been to encourage you to think and laugh at the same time. That's what I try to do. And hopefully I can accomplish a little bit of that. I want to start off with my humorous set with a piece that needs just a little explanation. You know, many of us spend most of our poetry reading to small groups of poets in this little town or that little town, and maybe you got together on a state or a regional level. But typically, most poets read to a small group of poets, and you get to know their quirks, you know their little riffs, you know their go-tos. And at this one particular time, I was in a little town uh, just north of Palm Beach called Stewart. And I read with the same six people for 15 years. And you sort of knew what everyone was going to do. And this one guy in particular, his main go-to was a poem about eating an ice cream sundae off his girlfriend's belly. Now, I don't know about you, but no woman that I know would want ice cream on her stomach. And I thought that that was just the oddest thing, even in Florida when it's really hot. But anyway, hearing this guy get over so big over this one riff, for years he'd do that one poem. So I decided that I would treat the woman's body in just a little different way and do my own tribute, if you will. So hopefully this won't violate anyone's peculiar space. Indulge me on this one. And I'm going to share a screen if that's okay. So here we go. This first piece is called, come on now. Come on now. Harder to be funny than I thought. Oh, come on.
Yeah, Richard, it might be easier to stop the share and start the share again when
Okay,
it comes
you've
up
got
too
a
slow.
good point. Thank you, brother. Oh, for God's sakes, come on. All right, we'll go to plan B. In that case, we'll go to this poem instead for now, till I can get the darn thing to come up. Wow, that's totally. Okay, hopefully you can still hear me because I can't even see you.
We can
This
hear
is
you.
called The Bunny's Revenge. They decided they'd had enough. Fluffy and Butterball felt they'd been pushed to the edge. They'd had enough. They just couldn't take it anymore. The next night would be a new moon, and the senior weather rabbit had announced it would be cloudy, so even the stars would be undercover. They decided they would call a bunny barrage, a secret gathering of fuzzy bunnies. All the senior council would be there. Bart Bunny, Barney Bunny, Barbara and Brunhilde would all be there. There'd be a presentation with exhibits by all the brainiest bunnies on the block. There would be They would catch those cats napping. The cats had pushed the bunnies too far. There'd been a truce for years and years between the pussy cats and the bunnies, yet from time to time the bunnies would capture a kitty and taunt them mercilessly, calling them names, teasing them with the choicest carrot nubbins. Now, kitty cats didn't really like carrots, but it was a matter of principle. The average cat didn't like carrots, even tender, sweet ones, but there was something the kitten saw and couldn't have it. Well, they wanted it all the more. But after the incidents last week, the truce was cold as stolen pizza from last Wednesday. Last week, a couple of cats had cornered a bunny when he was crossing the highway. Why, you might ask? Did the bunny want to cross the 8-lane highway? Well, you might ask. Well, you might. So these mean-spirited kitty cats, one by the name of Vanilla, the other who answered to Mascara, had stopped and blocked that fuzzy bunny and nearly popped. Then they proceeded to mesmerize, simonize, evangelize, and even carbonize that cute little fuzzy bunny. And after a dozen hypnotic passes, Barnaby Bunny sat up straight, took a look around them, and after a dozen hypnotic passes, Barnaby Bunny stood up straight, took a look around at those 8 lanes of traffic whizzing by, leapt into the air, and using his huge floppy ears, flapped his way over the mountains to glory. Okay, let's try this once again, please. And there it is. There it is. Oh, goody, 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 goody. And we have it. Super duper. Okay, now the one I'd intended to read is called Dancing Round the Nipple Brown. While some may prize the thighs, I'm impressed by the breast, though a good behind may cross my mind. The nipple's best atop the breast, and some will swoon at an ankle's turn. Upon my brain the brown button burns and leaves me much impressed, that nipple high upon the breast. An areola peeking there beyond the dress's blush can cause the average man's blood to leap and rush, but just a push against the dress of that pouty, pointy part of breast catches my attention, holds it there, and though with might and main not stare at that pretty mountain near the best of breast, the nipple spot, that's a lot. And while all the territory there surrounded by the areola's bumpy bare will bring my mind's attention close, and with my praying lips will bust and boast, and so gently close my breath will dance at close hands, clasped lips and tonguing trace the very height and breadth of place, the nipple soft and round and tall, surmounting all the blooming breast of white and tan and blue-tinged breast, that pinnacle of breasty truth, the taller, tanner, straightened youth, when pressed by lip and well-tongued dance, will bring a deeper, warmer trance, and burns my lip to taunt and tease, and with gentle rigor loosen knees. The dreamy focus, I'm entranced by nipples' sturdy, ruddy stance, and tickled there, my ladies, please, with enthusiasm's heady pleas. Well-fingered, lingered, slow, with well-tongued taste, and slowly circling, builds the taste. Those pounding hearts begin to race beneath as breath begins to rise and fall, as nipple does the taller size and all. The nipple seethe and seize with tender tongued touch, can speak so loud and say so much, though hair for some excites and pleases, and necks for those or toes don't see them, and some may find in light of eye the sunnum bonum of the prize, but nipple, I, with nimble, trebled, triple tonguing tongue, and say I, that's where the prize is won. Though later, as raptures roll and scented deeds unroll the scroll, and ladies' legs and men's entangle needs of seeds, after peaks of passion pour the paint, and patient partners gasp and faint, it remains there to lure and lead the nipple, stare and beg to bless, with my gentle tongue and lips to press, for Ed and all the heartfelt, dressed, pressed nipples. And now I go from one outlawry to another. this, and I'm sure some of you out there have perhaps experienced what we used to call Mary Jane or marijuana. So this is called medicale medicinale marijuana. The first, rough, joint, swollen and choking, the friendly circle, friends daring some dear dread danger, sharing a confidence from hand to hand, from lip to sip, even and balanced, from hind to mind, carry carefully, measuring moments of miraculous Mary's hot breath. Leafy green or dry, dusty brown, bush buds or leaves, the jagged reaching leaves mind sees, replace out open-minded signs those interruptive stems, the blasting berries of brown beetles, seedling bombs, flowering buds, gold, bowing bundles of bright brain food, rude to break up stodgy draughts of thoughts, the leafy powder, pinch to pipe, that first forest time, sitting, friended in the woods off the road, mere mute minutes from the madness, and the giggling gladness came, the raining gales of honest home-baked humor, cage-breaking, bar-bending, balloon bubbles of blue-gray brain-shaking noise with joys. Did the sleeper awake? What did it take? How gradually, gradually, the thoughts, unclots, turn, global, grander scenes, schemes, unveiling, prevailing schemes, larger circles concede, indeed, the creed replace with grace. Papers, drapers, rappers, clappers, brain-breaching snappers, slaps, sainted sapient seekers, tricking treaters, remove the tile task mask. Sitting with an album book, the look as seeds tumble south. Please plant these striving lives to solid soils embrace bright place roots reaching consciousness, uncontaining brain rockets from these short sections of fine leafy selections. Are your papers in order? Are they gummed? Are they easily flavored to match the merry march? Who has papers? Who has the catching March matches? Who can roll the droll tally troll? Mighty merit badges for new ages, sages, skills among the circle proud and pure, brotherhood of builder at the ashes, compliant, complete, the rituals, the glorious victuals. Find the source, sieve the course, separate the weeding seeds of need in the stem tides, decamped ride. Those massed explosive spasms reveal revelry in the devilty of tiny shirt-stained holes. Who knows what incense the fire's wires flow? Twitch tumbles the volcanic passions, humble, ashy, crumble, spray. Who's pitch part of the tribal circle clan? Who knows and who doesn't? Who knows the code, roads, the rules, tools, rolling papers and pipes, the types of pipes, the gassy glass, the gonging bong, the casual co-opted tobacco pipe, corn cob, meerschaum, or specialty antique clay, from bitty metal nettle disguise to bright blasting plastic bongs, recycled fruity station, ordered orange to apple pipe to metal tipped toilet tube, the concert scene where you brought jays to burn and yearning, jarring jays to share, the dare crackling on the firing line from handing man to partial seaward chum and row-wise warder. No hoarder hides the true wide with lining, hidden lies subdue for you. The wide array, the tray of colors and textures, dark green, pale green, dry, crackling, sticky, brown, amber, red, pale green, leafy, pressed, rock solid, powdery to pick sticky pine pitch, the itch, loose, saggy bags of rose red buds with whiter trim delight, papers, zigzag, flavored, strawberry, coconut, thin, fragile, heavy as canvas, the Frenchy fine, toppers working stiff, old friend of 1.5, 1.25, or just the serious and solitary one, to daring share the sunlight repeals the stealing ash. Can you bowl and roll a joint that draws well and doesn't run? Even the burning bud draws well without sending falling orange golden glitter in the debris that doesn't shower your sweetheart's knees with charming bejeweled sparks. The stem that starts and pokes like jokes through the paper draper rolls to push unburned the protruding rude the bastion of the sacred flame trailing shrine. It's time, though thou hast added flame and kisses and girdling, encircling frames that untamed lurk inside, and as the rings of smoke surround and blue-tinged ribbons curl, confound, and tease from dreamy eyes new vistas hipsters spy, or even ephemeral, cleverer rivers with a misty, wispy, tree-lined budding bloom, winding creeks of freaks and gurgling wisps which tease and taunt with spatching gasping spouts thrust past the trusty thought-carrying clouds, breaking up the buds, long wispy tendrils of buddy bloom, dry clumps of brown and gold, buds that break into crushed dust, buds that sticky clump and only prying fingers can stingily reduce the bundle to pipe-fitting kindling. And the J for the day by the nickel bag that wasn't a box, but the three-finger bag that memory lagged, the carefully measured blossom that tossed on the sacred bedside bounced the ounce. And when on some teenage night the Friday pound was pounced, fresh wrapped from smuggler's catch, they dearly dissect that dense delight when pressed for shipment. These victorious blooms of heaven's bounty, blossoms began when confined to seach and reach your salient mind, and then beyond whose gradient of radiant defining silent power trains your teaching reaching brain to stretch out past the outposts of common drum and mind the climb where grander, richer vistas undefined can catch and tease toes, tiny thoughts, the lots of galing gales of laughter, unveiling laughter, rafters off, and having laughed last, the loss of littered dross. The little live alone. Oh, call the sacred circle nigh, and the bell-ringing bright brain berries, fairies' music march, and catch the fetching flight. Incense folds the rolls of blue smoked wings my chariot holds to heaven high, the treasured seaside tidal wash. Medicale, medicinale, marijuana. And now, thank you. And now this one, this is a bit, dry, but it's one of those silly realities that, just sort of pokes around from time to time. This is called For Terry. Now, you may remember, some of you oldsters, that a young lady had a stroke, and her husband wanted to let her pass. But her family, being a peculiar tribe of Christianity, decided they wanted to keep her alive no matter what, even though her brain was dead. So I wrote this. This is called For Terry. If I cough, shut me off. If I bleed, sign the deed. If I blink, don't even think. If I groan, send me home. If I choke, cut the rope. If I faint, I'm a saint. If I snore, shut the door. Heart attack, send me back. If I burp, time for turf. If I itch, the ditch. If I scratch, throw the latch. If I sniff, what's the diff? Hardly wriggle, carry a digger. Getting worse, just hire the hearse. No longer brave, just dig a grave. Begin to doubt, then send me out. Can't hardly whisper, read the Vespers. Can't seem to hear, pour the beer. Can't budge or burgeon, call the surgeon. Can't lose no weight, then just cremate. Can't stop the worry, don't wait, just bury. I seem in the way, just throw me away. I take up space, then time for grace. Don't wait, don't pause, don't read the third clause. Just pull the plug, shake the rug, yank the tube, it's not even rude. Pull the plug, don't be a slug. The game's all done. Hey, you can use a gun. Just to, put your mind at ease. Next one is called Up on Garbage Mountain. Many of you may know that we have a problem with our garbage. We don't seem to do it very well. So this is called Up on Garbage Mountain. Up on Garbage Mountain, along the Biscayne Bay, although the seagulls stop for dinner, they seldom fly away. 'Twould seem a foul idea to build it up so high. It's not too wise to leave out all that garbage, piling higher, vaster, wide. Mountainous high, strenuous glazes, heat hassle, hazes, layers, strumming, summing suns, drumming, heating, stuffed, surprise. Trucks take dumps on hasty humps, leak, laughing, pungent snares, vapors, drifting, wafting, lifting, sifting through the air, waves welling, falling, smelling up the air. Don't rush right up or drink the cup without a seal-tight mask to wear. We don our yellow gloves there, our acid-tested boots, completely airtight overalls and air-conditioned suits, with special pressure steel-toed boots amid the gushing whoosh. The bugs that are mighty strange there weave quite a special strain. The chemicals they've hatched in resemble acid rain. They carry mighty virus, sure, a highly aggressive brood. So do not park your car nearby. They've acquired a taste for tires. Radials are good. The mud that moves, we call it, watching some crawl by. Don't get any on your shoe. It'll eat right through you quick. And should you dare to poke it, it'll probably eat your stick. One thing you'll find amazing as it reaches cloud-rimmed Olympic heights. There's one thing true that it can do. Bring into a tourist well-earned view a look at that strange and bloated large of Jersey and a garbage barge, ripe, as homeless and as sad a sight as a garbage truck, out of luck and gas, with a year's young load of your own waste. Like the taste? And then some of you are old enough, I think, to remember Ronnie Ray guns. And this is a piece I wrote for him called SDI. That was his Strategic Defense Initiative, where if we only had more bombs up in the air, then we'd be safe. This is called SDI, an orbital poem for the technologically advanced. Can your biorhythms cancel REM sleep? Can your cholesterol metabolism content be counting sheep? Do your misdirected melanomas marvel at the leak? Would you mind if I wrote offline on video varnish sleep? Would your documented study object, you recollect, without reflection, review detection, rescuing the site? Would your quoted survey walk the robot dog tonight? Batteries of flattery flaunt, heat printers Saunders to taunt, whispering casually, printing passionately, warming his ribbon cables over wrapped royal solar collectors, cables rainbowed in reclination, spiral data decollage detection. Does the paper curl just right? Sticky edges curved, breaking right? Would your quoted survey walk the robot dog tonight? Would you wise to wander? Could you kind and candor keep the feeling fonder? Does the digit flounder keeping parallel data aligned? Would your quoted survey walk the robot dog tonight? While communications miracles help you remember those zip codes, while giant commercial conglomerates rank the urban air at nodes, do your cancer studies relate to urban blight? Hold the precious candle higher with its light? Would your quoted survey walk the robot dog tonight? Watching gentle airliners plunge with turbulent wind shear while underrated radar stains to ping. Who is that? Where? Demobilizing scout ships on radar action screens. Has the battery obliged to spend this surging electric leap? Would your quoted survey walk the robot dog tonight? Stellar lasers mount the rings of accelerator paths. Mega computers spend the day writing Uncle Sam's bank drafts. Super calculators on rapid oxidators give the raiders something warm. Has the calm bestowed the swarm? Inching ever closer, nearer to the norm. Hear that walking catfish heading for the door. Hydrogen alert, bore right here in micro-activated mirth. Has the attorney contrived to rewrite judicial plight? Would your quoted survey walk the robot dog tonight? Pleistocene pressed fossils hang in scientific halls with antiquated docils contemplating stalls. The Soviets that fly through space have not achieved transcendental space with solar panel funneled grace. Has the salary blown by to serve the electric lamprey's sight? Would your quoted survey walk the robot dog tonight? For those at home, you bet, still monitored, don't fret. But that don't mean that idiots obscene and some accumulating calf suspends the graft while addle painting past rebuke the test. Satellites casting spears of light. Would your quoted survey walk the robot dog tonight? The president is hating. The Congress is debating. The soldiers' masks are waiting. Would your quoted survey walk the robot dog tonight? Don't build in space an armored place, a fence to hit, to spit in the face of human life, causing strife. Neglects the wife. Sense relents. But if too late, distancing disturbing fate, would your quoted survey walk the robot dog tonight? Missile defenders dancing on fenders re-neglect and break the neck of respect for Earth, grayish dusted, flamed and blusted. Asteroids twist and jest with hilarious zest, tilting, drifting out of sight. Would your quoted survey walk the robot dog tonight? Thank you. This is this next one I think you may find amusing. This is called the Bronte. Oh, okay, never mind. Not that one. So then we'll do this one. This is called let's send the rich into space. They know their place. high above the common trace. Let's send the rich into space. We'll spare them gladly, far from our face, leering madly. They've made their case. Let's send the rich into space. Let's send the rich into space. Let's let them make their own fresh air. They'll have to make it. I don't care. No use to fake it. Losing the rich won't make us sad, mad, or even glad, but it does scratch an itch. Because all they had, they stole. Shaken and taken into their bulging pockets, breaking, scraping from the plates of the beloved poor, huddled, shivering outside their iron-hearted door. Don't let the door hit you from behind. I wouldn't mind if the time the door fits you. You don't have to share one drop of space. There's plenty of vacuum out there to spare. Just send the rich into space, I swear. You can keep your spoils and your buds, the royals, and just so that you're all amused, then you can keep the crumbs of clues. It seems you might have to polish your own muddy, bloody shoes. Yeah, about time you paid some dues. No longer will they walk among us. Send them out into the stars so far from us. They can take their yachts and their cars way out to the stars. Let's send the rich out into space. That place. Bless their darling arses. Let 'em dodge and duck as each meteor passes. Let 'em take their poodles out for a willy where. Solar flare. Oops, silly. And the next spinning, grinning asteroid until he needs to build his lunch so the spaceship goes crunch. Let's send the rich out into space. They can take all their sneering, their complacent careering, and all their vainglorious poses right up their surgeon trim noses. They're just too good to tarry here. Why then, my friend, it's to us the earth and the clear waters dear. You can take your servants if they're willing. No need to be waited upon and get their filling. And if you're a sage or some new age villain, let's send the rich out into space. I'll chase. Let them spend their lives without their humble shutters drawn, and your royal progeny entitled classes at the schools they built and spun, where each dawn of the royal clan skates right through across the gold-plated span, and then every man's a king, every woman a queen, where no more knee shall bow, no wait in distress ere now. Any scene of their mess, let's send the rich into space, I guess. And then I'll leave you with this one last one. I think you may find it amusing, I hope. This is one of those security poems. It does go back a bit, but I think the idea still works. It's called Homeland Defense. Between the kings of Saudi oil, who Shell and Exxon dare not despoil, where those of Wall Street's fiscal toil, where betting against the working man guarantees a stock's demand, and Desert Prince with generous eye holds courts intense, where gas station cards shall pay the rent. Does the oily hand of GH's show old CIA man still in control? Pass the ID cards, but not a fakin'. This way from true American icon shaken. Your face will now be pre-recorded, and all your flights will now be boarded. Arm the pilot, the stewardess too. Next to the pillow and the barf bag fun, all passengers now will be given guns. Oh, for a shootout in the airy blue. Oh, what just a day can do. I picture the Stewie, tray in her hand, confronted by the wanted man. Toss the tray into his face, spins on her arm and kicks him trace. He rolls across the cart to a Boy Scout troop who truss him up and steal his boots. His arms behind his back now tied, they bounce him over to the choir side, who pummel, pillage, then retire, and all those who were watching were inspired. Then a group of Civitan asked for a few fingers from his hand, and a Boy Scout troop wants his bushy beard. Oh, you should have heard the things I heard. And then an old monk Jesuit gives him twice a goodly kick, and the secretary gets him with her bick. And though the pilot and co-pilot were vying for priority, they submitted their decision to the vote of the majority. Some wanted to toss him right out the door, but a cloister of nuns still wanted some fun. They drug him back to the airplane's tail, and the rugby team ran him back to the gale. Up to the galley where they banged his head 2 or 3 times on the oven lid, and a group of congressional aides in first class pulled every hair from out of his ass, and a covey of comedians dove right in with a left and a right to his nose and his chin, and a group of traitors down from Duluth pushed him and mashed him into the roof, and the ceiling tiles and the overhead bin broke when they tried to stuff him in. But let this be remembered and never forget, don't ever wait till your library book's late. And I could go on, but how are we doing for time, Shad?
Yeah, time for a couple more.
Okie doke. Well, I'll just do
Liking
one more
this.
and see if we
Okay.
can find one more amusing one for you. It is my pleasure here to hopefully bring you a smile or two, while on the one hand dealing with serious facts, and on the other hand, let's just have a wee bit of fun. So this last one was prompted by a dear friend of ours. You may know this, and let me share screen here. You may know Finn Bell, a marvelous lady who has all kinds of wit and wisdom. Uh, she gave me a prompt one day. She said, "You're a master thief, and you've been hired to steal the most famous garlic bulb known to mankind." And so here we go. This is called the Great Garlic Heist. Okay, you're a master thief, and you've been tasked with stealing the world's most expensive garlic bulb worth a veritable fortune. I'm reeling. O thou noble bulb, whose possession I desire near as dear as love. Oh, to possess thee, I would dare any crime, to hold thee, squeeze thee, now and in eternal time. O thou precious bud, I desire thee so completely, each clove before my nose doth dance, your perfume doth my very soul entrance. I chased across yon merry world, that I might you in my loving arms enfold, and though copious volumes of history hath laid thy tracks, in health and wealth and marriage and miscarriage, have borne thee, noble garlic, up to the max. When summoned by the ancient healers to do thy best, from Chinese to Greek the healers will attest, I must have thee. I've got a special handmade box at rest, there in my Chester drawers beneath my socks. And though I have oft purloined both gems and gold from treasure chest and dowager boudoir bold, across the continent and in far fair Sind, I've made my way from treasure house to castle gemmed storehouse inn, to dip my hand and steal away their treasures in fair or foulest weather. Say, but this great garlic heist challenges my fame, and upon it I will hazard all my reputed skills to gain. And thus I add to my treasury this famed bulb, and I will on thy sweetie's toes to gently rub. This is known by ancients to charmful love, as greatest love is known and shown to the illuminated, sated, multi-munificent gods above, and while upon her toes is placed a famed inflamed juice, do I in secret embrace, gently place, sure her heart will soar, her eyes will gleam, and appear to her in my true sphere the great godlike charm of her dreams, and then upon my lips she will give to me the fated kiss, arrive so that all the ruddy drops of my heart will soar and charm. No jive. But I have researched and studied, careful that it were guarded by a few dozen baleful mercenaries, and the closest chief of surgery, and I will in fact spirit it off with the utmost urgency. 'Twill be enough. And though my confederates, back in my lair, who are yet free, and as those who've recently escaped from jail, have urged me, once my hands have snatched the glorious bulb, in point of fact, that all men desire, and women too, they've urged me, wouldn't you? That I have it, as is my habit, the latest break the darn thing into, that my men might prosper if I grab it. Only this, if they behold that brightest bulb in dreams of old, the tiniest part from this dangerous theft, this purloining of garlic's highest even cleft. Just 1/10 part would make their fortune. I toss it off with my cold, heartless, remorseless of a stern-faced surgeon. I will have this precious bulb to rub the toes of my lady love, and though this scent is worth a ton of gold, but more precious to my heart, this dearly darling there, beyond any bargaining, thus I will, it shall not be sold. So up on the museum roof I stealthily slip the greedy bonds of earth, and though it's guarded by 10 troops of guards for all they're worth, I, invisible seeming, scheming, heedlessly I make my way. Even a false step on the loose and slipping roof tile cannot block my way. Then a random flare, shot high to discourage any seeker with lesser nerve and lesser love. Making my way to the chimney shade, I affixed my cables and toward the skylight made my stealthy path that had to last until I returned from my wanderings with a bulbous beauty in hand and make my way stealthily past. Once I slipped between skylight and ceiling, I could see exactly what kind of dangerous mission I was unreeling. But the mighty pole star of my mission, neither hesitant nor racked with indecision, in seconds I dropped to the museum's marble floor, and in a moment dispatched the heavily armored guards one by one, all four. And as they fell and they lay to slumber, no longer at their duty, I swore I'd have that glorious garlic, no matter how great the number. I'll have it. It is my tonic. And as Pliny said, the Egyptians revere it and swell it on their earths, as the guards would hear. And when Moses took his people on a stroll, it was lack of garlic that was so oft lamented and took its toll, until Jehovah relented. Garlic was placed at the crossroads by the Greeks for the god Hecate to protect against demons and for childbirth's relief. Greek soldiers would dine on copious amounts of garlic afore their battles, so as the ancients would know and on to prattle. The Koreans ate garlic for protection from tigers, and who am I in these days and times to deny this? I would bathe and laze it about on my lady's toes. I swear mightily, lustily, nowhere else would it go. They might offer pounds or rubles. They might even offer to exercise, enlarge it, even an ever so troublesome one, say a benign tumor. And though marks and francs they might pile so high, but not for me. I pine instead for my lady's breathless sigh as she turns her pretty head. And oh, I quietly inscribed on the bright glass case, and with a dashing quick stroke, I extract that golden garlic bulb and replace with a mimic mock one made of biodegradable hempen plastic, with my holographic signature to mock them with my moniker Rick. So no chance for error. I slipped right through the rooftop skylight, and since the gods were with me, I got it just right. No need for terror. But now the alarm had been raised, and by some chance a passing cabby made a quick stop outside the museum, which gave me just the opportunity I needed to save me. One more close shave those garlic gods did offer, and then this kiss, the romantic topper. And as Homer reported, Ulysses owed his escape from Circe to the yellow garlic. I returned quick to my lady's bed and treated her just right. A nice trick. And I will end with that, my friends. I hope you had some amusement. Thank you, Brother Chad. It's been an honor to serve these fine folks. I hope I brought a smile.
I think I'm all but positive you did, and thanks to everyone else in the group for passing that on however you could, even if you were just Eva. But, I will put in the information for the of right of the well, I guess I shouldn't put in the actual email information for the book because it's all the free ones are for the ones who were the funny people.
That's right. That's right. All you funny
So,
people there, just write me a note and you'll have a copy. In
so
my honor and pleasure.
everyone else out there, fuck them. But I will,
Yeah, let them pay.
exactly. So I'll
Thank
put a
you,
link to
friends.
that. And thank you again very much, Richard. This was worth the wait. I'm glad you're feeling much better. I hope by the time next time Stone Soup comes around, both my computer and everything else will be feeling much better as well, or at least I'll have a loaner that feels kind of okay, and we will continue from there. And stay tuned for more announcements for Stone Soup. I won't, don't worry, I won't be making any moves with the computer unless I'm positive I have an outlet for 2 weeks from now, and we will proceed from there. So I'm looking very forward to as much as I'm looking forward to my vacation, I'm looking forward to kicking off Stone Soup with more features, more announcements. I'll be putting Arthur Stratosphere Williams information up later tonight. More people are going to follow, and looking very forward to that. So thank you all very much, Clive. Hope we see you again some other time. And I don't know how my video just suddenly stopped working, but here we go. Here I am. Now I can do the wave. I was just like looking like, what's going on? But thank you all very much. Have yourselves a great evening. Have yourself a great rest of the week. Stay safe. Stay good. I'll be keeping in touch online through the Facebook group and posting more information. We'll be keep visiting the Stone Soup Facebook site. Check out the Stone Soup website at stonesouppoetry.blogspot.com. We'll see you again soon. Show's over. See you next time. Thank you so much, Richard.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Feel better. Good luck with the surgery, Trish.
Ugh,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.